WrestleRant to the 85th edition of WrestleRant here today with your host, Bleacher, 4-pitch Columnist Level 3, Graham Jason Matthews here today to review Monday Night Raw for October 22nd, 2012. And a great show it was, a lot of successful build, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in only 5 days from now. Extremely looking forward to that. Start breaking down the show. Kick off the show, we had the finals of the tag team tournament that have been occurring over the last month between the Rhodes Scholars and Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. A great match. Kick off the show. From my count, this is the first match. This is the first Raw to have the show kick off with a match for the first time in nearly 2 months. So that's a great change of pace. Really refreshing. Really enjoyed that. But as I just said, great match. I've been really enjoying the tag team tournament over the last month. It's really putting a lot of emphasis on the tag team division, and that was seen by kicking off the show with these guys. All 4 guys worked really hard to make this a great match. I really enjoyed it. Great move by having Rhodes Scholars go over here. It was kind of logical and predictable from the beginning that they'd be going over in the finals, but nonetheless it does not take away from the factor they do deserve to be the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Having Team Hell No appear in a little vignette following the matchup as well to further the feud between them and Rhodes Scholars is also a very nice touch as well. And as they always say on Twitter, Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes equals Rhodes Scholars equals gold. Not saying they should win the tag team title gold on Sunday, but maybe at some point in time, because that's going to be a great match, no doubt. Up next, the Intercontinental Champion Kofi Kingston taking on Michael McGillicuddy. Kind of a throwaway matchup, only in about 2 minutes. As I said in my Raw live event review, Michael McGillicuddy turned face of the event that I was at. So I was kind of surprised to see him work as a heel on Raw. That didn't make much sense. But I mean, he even got Mr. Perfect chance when he was out there, so that was pretty cool. I think turning him face and changing his name to Joe Henning would be the best bet at this point. But I guess they're not taking that route. But I do appreciate the effort in putting Michael McGillicuddy on television. He's a great talent. I'm glad to see him being featured on Raw against the Intercontinental Champion, no less. The Miz tried his best on commentary to put over his shoot with Kofi Kingston going into Sunday. My personal opinion, the match between Kofi Kingston and Miz have been really good. But they've been rushing the feud way too much. This feud started like 2 weeks ago. With all the stuff they did on Raw, SmackDown, main event over the last few weeks, that could have easily transcended over the last month on WWE programming. But I digress. It's going to be a great match come Sunday, so I can't wait for that either. Up next, we have the promo between John Cena and CM Punk. John Cena came out and started talking about Hell in a Cell, Ryback, WWE Champion CM Punk. A lot of great stuff here. It was in a serious mode, and as I always say, CM Punk is always best. I'm sorry, John Cena, that is always on his best on the mic when he's talking serious. CM Punk interrupts his talking going down. The change. That's the best part about this promo. That's what I thoroughly enjoyed about this promo. The way that he talked about the change that he was going to incorporate in the WWE, bringing back a past angle that CM Punk brought back about a year ago when he first came back to the WWE. So that was my favorite part about this entire segment. A lot of strong mic work between these two guys. Really enjoyed the verbal exchange between both Punk and Cena. Great stuff here. Teasing a fight between Cena and Punk. Cena said he was medically cleared, so he can now fight officially. Then CM Punk ended up backing off. So that was a really good teaser. They're probably foreshadowing a feud of the continuing of the feud, I should say, come Survivor Series. Maybe we see some altercation between the two at Hell in a Cell. We're gonna have to wait and see, but nonetheless, a great segment. Up next, a good match between the United States Champion Antonio Cesaro and Justin Gabriel. Justin Gabriel shockingly picks up the victory here. I was marking hell out for this. I think this is the mark out moment of the night for me. I usually mark out a lot, like a huge mark out moment at least once each show, and this was a mark out moment of the night for me. Who would have thunk that Justin Gabriel, a guy that hasn't won a match on WWE TV or WWE pay-per-view or anything in the last 12 matches that he's competed on Raw, SmackDown, main event, and pay-per-view, he hasn't won a match. So that's quite surprising. Glad to see him pick up the victory here. Really looking forward to a feud between him and Antonio Cesaro. That could be a lot of good matches right there over the United States Championship. Justin Gabriel at some point should be the United States Champion. He got a nice pop when he picked up the victory, clean with the 450 splash. I think he's an excellent talent. It's about damn time they're finally pushing him back to where he should be in the mid-card. He makes a great talent. Not saying he should win the United States Championship quickly. I think they should hold off on that for a little bit. Maybe give him the belt at some point in time. His mic work isn't up to par yet with Antonio Cesaro's, and the crowd isn't really buying into Antonio Cesaro yet as United States Champion. Maybe give him the belt at some point, just not yet. But even still, a very big hit in my book. Up next, the promo with AJ Lee coming out alongside Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon announced that AJ Lee has resigned from her position as Raw General Manager. The segment itself, well, then afterwards I'll talk about this. Let me just talk about this real quick. Vicky Guerrero interrupts, saying that she's a new managing assistant, servicer, something like that. I can't remember what it was. Something supervisor. That's what it was. Managing supervisor of Monday Night Raw. Some random title for absolutely no reason. I don't know why they just didn't give her the title of Raw General Manager or Interim Raw General Manager like they did with John Laurinaitis about a year ago. A lot of garbage right there. But the segment itself, the mic work was fine. It was okay. There was nothing bad about it. It was just very, very strange. Now, I haven't been the biggest supporter of AJ Lee as Raw General Manager. When it first happened, I was okay with it. It was fine. I really, really like AJ Lee as an in-ring competitor. As an authority figure, not so much. She was the hottest thing going in wrestling a few months ago. So I do want to keep her on television. I'm not saying get rid of her. But I think she did run her course as Raw General Manager, so I'm glad to see her relinquish her reins as a Raw General Manager. And it was also nice to see Vince McMahon as well. But the fact that they replaced her with Vicky Guerrero, that is the part that I don't really understand. Now, Vicky Guerrero has been Raw General Manager once or twice before, once in 2020, once in 2010, once in 2009, and she's been General Manager of SmackDown quite many times as well over the last 5 years. So that didn't make much sense to replace her with Vicky Guerrero. Yes, it does benefit Vicky in the fact that, one, she still garners major heat, so that makes sense. And two, this might split her away slowly from Dolph Ziggler, which is what we've been hoping for a very long time now. So that could end up being a good thing. But the fact that we're going to be seeing her on Raw a lot now, not the best thing in my book. I know a lot of people are going to be saying that because she's a heel. It makes sense. We want to boo her. But even still, I think someone like a fresh face, someone like a Mick Foley, or maybe a returning Ric Flair, which I know isn't possible at the moment, but maybe at some point in time. But I think those guys would be excellent candidates for the Raw General Manager spot if they do intend to go that route. So up next, a quick squash match, basic match between Ryback and Miz. We saw this a few short weeks ago, but I mean, even that match is better than this. Miz didn't get any offense at all during the course of this matchup. Ryback just basically squashing the Awesome One. It helps Ryback in the sense that he's going in for the WWE Championship on Sunday against CM Punk, so I do understand the fact they want to make him look strong. The Miz, however, hasn't won a match in quite some time. I think they should be building him up to look like a credible threat to Kofi Kingston's IC Championship come Sunday. Maybe they're going to do what they did with Cody Rhodes earlier this year. Remember, back in April, I believe, when Cody Rhodes lost the Intercontinental Championship to Big Show, he jobbed out for quite a while, especially to a guy like the Great Khali on SmackDown. Then he ended up winning back the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules. Maybe they're doing the same thing with The Miz, and maybe he's going to win it back on Sunday. Who knows? I'd love to see that, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But even still, a basic squash match with Ryback destroying the Awesome One here. Up next, the match of the night between Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. Now, this happened almost exactly 2 years after their initial encounter at the Bragging Rights 2010 pay-per-view. So, of course, from that night, we saw This Is Awesome chance. 2 years later, we see the same exact thing. We hear the same exact thing. An absolutely fantastic matchup. A lot of cool signature spots. Dolph Ziggler ended up winning with the zigzag off the top rope. Very, very innovative finish. And Kane was the one that cost him the matchup unintentionally after distracting Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan stays protected here because he didn't win clean. It was all Kane's fault, or so we thought. Dolph Ziggler picks up back momentum that he's been losing in recent weeks by defeating Daniel Bryan, a WWE Tag Team Champion. So Dolph Ziggler here wins here. Daniel Bryan wins here. A lot of great stuff. A lot of good stuff. Great booking on WWE's part. And after that, we had this is where it started to go downhill a little bit. The newly tag game. As a sense from Vicky Guerrero, I guess. They wanted to do this a segment with Vicky, and Vicky made this up. And then to have between Team Hell No and Rhodes Scholars, they had Team Hell No arguing before the break, and then they came back and the match didn't even happen, and the game didn't even happen. This is absolutely meaningless. I think this was the low light of the show. It wasn't extremely terrible, but it was just kind of pointless. Like, why even have it? I know it was probably filler to save time, to kill time between Daniel Bryan's match and Kane's match, so that makes sense. But why even bother having it? It was really, really stupid. The most random part about it was that Matt Striker was the host, and then afterwards he ran away, and then he subsequently turned heel. That didn't make any sense either, I guess, but whatever. Moving on, we had Big Show versus Kane. We've seen this match numerous times over the course of 2012, so I didn't really give two shits about this matchup. Big Show goes over here. The match wasn't bad. It was just pretty decent. Big Show maintains his momentum going into the World Heavyweight Championship match on Sunday at Hell in a Cell. So that's fine to see. Kane gets distracted by Road Scholars after the match. Road Scholars attacks Team Hell No, giving them heat in the process. So that was pretty good. That was good booking there as well. Up next, we had a brief backstage segment involving AJ and John Cena, where it was revealed that AJ was fraternizing, WWE's Word of the Week this week, with John Cena, which cost her job. Well, personally, I didn't want the person to be revealed this quickly. I think having it, teasing, maybe a guy like Dolph Ziggler, who made many mentions of AJ throughout the night, they could have teased it to be him. But I think giving it away, it doesn't take away from the angle at all. I mean, I'm really enjoying this angle from what we've seen so far. I'm really intrigued by it. It's a lot of reallys. But I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go forward, going forward from here. This has the potential in the world to be a great storyline. Pretty basic. We've seen it numerous times in the past in WWE television, but it could be great. Up next, Alberto Del Rio defeats Zack Ryder. Seen it numerous times, and really nothing much to say here. Del Rio applies the arm breaker following the matchup and gets extra heat, so that's cool. Up next, we had our main event, CM Punk versus Sheamus. The second time ever between these two. The first match we saw main event, which was a better match. I'll get to that in a second. This is a lumberjack match, the largest lumberjack match in WWE history. CM Punk goes over here by attacking Sheamus after Big Show interfered. So, the match itself, it was pretty good. As I just said, not as good as their main event matchup from a couple weeks ago, but even still a solid action given the fact that it was a lumberjack match, and usually lumberjack matches are a train wreck. Not my favorite stipulation ever, but it was a good match to close the show. Glad CM Punk picked up the victory here. After the matchup, Ryback came running down. Was about to beat up on CM Punk. CM Punk darted out of the ring. However, the Lumberjacks, this is where the Lumberjacks made sense by throwing him back into the ring, only to be attacked by Ryback. So that made sense. And that was really cool. Ryback going over strong here. So that was really cool. He had an awesome looking powerbomb. He had his finisher on Punk. So he got a lot of momentum going into Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So an epic ending to a very good Raw. Not the best Raw that we've seen in the last few months, but it wasn't terrible either. We've seen even worse Raws in recent weeks as well. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode of Raw. A lot of cool stuff. The Gabriel victory, AJ no longer GM, Punk versus Sheamus, Daniel Bryan versus Ziggler, the opening matchup, the tag team matchup. A lot of awesome stuff from this week's show, and they had decent build for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. They did a lot of stuff on the show that could have been foreshadowed for next week. The Vicky Guerrero unveiling of her as Raw GM or manager, supervisor, or whatever the hell the title is, that could have been saved for next week. They will incorporate a sense of change in the product. But even still, a really good Raw. As I just said, thoroughly entertained by it. Hopefully they keep up the momentum going into next week, as well as the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view going into this Sunday. So with that being said, the pay-per-view is in about 5 days. I will be giving my predictions here on WrestleRant and hopefully an upcoming prediction video, so make sure to check that out. Make sure to subscribe as well. And this is GSM signing out. Till next time, guys.